Hello guys, welcome back. Had progress with Odin and it was good progress, but it wasn't from something good I did. I'm pretty used to my freedom with Loki. He lets us toddle around and toddle off. He figures if we get hurt, we'll learn a valuable lesson. So he's pretty hands off. He's a lot about freedom. Where I was talking with one of you and I said with Odin, it's kind of like we have them in America. You probably don't have them, but we have harnesses you put on babies. I'm serious. You put these on toddlers and you put them on a leash. And that way they can walk around, but they can't run off. It's partially for the child's safety. So, like, if you're out in public, the ones that like to run off can't run off and get hurt. But it's also because you were just done with trying to control this child because they won't listen. So, like any toddler having a baby harness put on them, I threw a tantrum. And that sounds adorable in a sense. But, Odin ended up getting hurt. What I like to do to blow off steam is when I'm laying in bed at night, I always have rampant insomnia. Instead of just thinking up creative solutions to my problems, which I should do, I'll sometimes think of a god or meeting a god or something, and I'll think of being in a bad mood with them, being mad. And sometimes a god will notice, and most of them seem like they don't care, or they'll show up and they'll be like, oh, it's okay, be mad at me, whatever. Loki will show up and be like, what are you mad about now? How's this my fault? And Odin, being Odin, was not only hurt, but, he showed up in a dream this morning. Both he and Loki showed up as women, and I was in a kind of like a shopping arcade we have around here, and there was snow all over the ground. And they had taken me out to eat. I think they had taken me out for Chinese now that I'm thinking of it. And I was so mad at them, I was storming off. And at the time I didn't realize who it was. And they were trying to call me back. And I said, I heard somebody use my name. Two women use my name in a dream. And Loki's like, I don't know. And he says, well, why were you, because I described the dream to Odin first. And he's like, well, why were you storming off? I said, I was mad at them for something and I wasn't going to eat them. And they were trying to call me back and take care of me. But I was going to go get my own damn food at the McDonald's or something. Because when I'm mad, I'm not rational. And it was Odin and Loki saying, hey, we don't appreciate this. And Odin was saying, if you have a problem, come to me and talk about it. Don't make up this weird fantasy where you're just mad at me. And it had been the dumbest thing. It had been, I sometimes think of living in, say, Loki's back here sneered, you little idiot. You were tall and like Odin coming in, the whole prisoner of war thing. Loki's back here, don't call that. Well, what would you call it? He's like, boy, take it. Okay, anyhow. Living there and Odin coming in, and I have always thought that if we hadn't met before, I didn't think, for whatever reason, I didn't think Odin would like me at all. And I kind of see stereotypical, grumpy, unemotional Odin, and he started to get upset. He didn't like being treated like that. And he's like, why wouldn't I like you if we hadn't met before? This doesn't even make sense. You pick stuff to get mad about with your gods. It doesn't make sense. And then that affects how you treat us. And you say it doesn't, but it does. He says, if you want to work out your problems, we're finding another solution. You're going back to playing violent video games because I think all this peaceful video games is starting to rot your brain out of your head. I gotten burnt out on the other channel, so I really did stop playing those kind of games. And I said, well, the ones I have, it's like, Outlast and stuff like that. I said, I don't really want to play the victim. And I don't know. I said, I have to find a solution, but probably won't be going back to those type of games. I mean, I'll play them eventually, but I'm still really burnt out. And I'm like, ugh, no, I'm okay. I will try to think of something to do. Like my nightly bath or something to, help me de-stress and unwind so I don't do this. And he says, well, you have to start thinking, like, if you're going to think about your gods, think positive things, and that can help you with the relationship. I said, yeah, but that's silly. And he goes, I don't care if it's silly or you think it's wishful thinking. You're doing this thing. Okay. So I made lobster soup for us. Don't get excited. It's nongshi. And it was interesting, a thing of I'm gonna slaughter this word, I am so sorry. Hikikomori came up. People in Japan that become isolated, and not just like isolated like housebound or something, they, intentionally isolate because they've gone through some kind of trauma, or maybe, their work world has ended and they don't have the same family structure and everything anymore. So it's becoming quite a problem. It's becoming like a problem in France and America, and that where people are so isolated, they could pass away and no one would know. Literally, no one would know. And it was sad, and I knew it was Odin making a point. He's like, you are doing this to yourself with your gods. You don't realize it, but I don't like the way you're treating us, and I don't care if you think this gets rid of frustrations. I don't accept it. I was like, wow, because I'm used to Loki. Loki lets me run around. If I want to be stupid, Loki's like, fine, be stupid, don't be happy. Do I give a shit? No. And he'll just glare at me the whole day. But Odin cares. Odin is like, I want this relationship, damn it, and it's gonna be nice if I have to make you be nice. So it was actually, I told him it was incredibly brave on his part because the relationship's still new, and some gods would have been like, well, I'm not going to say anything, but Odin is Odin. Odin is like, no, I deserve better treatment, damn it. And he had a point. He did. He was hurt. He was like, what did I even do? Because we had agreed I would treat him exactly like Loki, and I even said, very startled, I said, I'm treating you exactly like Loki. When I'm frustrated, sometimes I want to punch that man in the face. I never dream of hitting him or anything, but we do have quite a bit of scraps. And, verbal, not physical. Odin's like, why? I said, sometimes I'm frustrated and there's really nothing I can do, but you still have to get that frustration out. So that's what happens. And Odin's like, no, this is not acceptable. You can start going into VR more, you can do archery, you can do something useful with this energy, but you're not going to take it out on your gods anymore. So I got my ears pinned back. I did, but I deserved it, and I'm happy he did it because I can't fix problems they won't let me know are happening. If something's not acceptable to them, I don't know any better. So I'm actually really proud of him for telling me because, it's early on in the relationship and he could have just let it slide and been miserable and never told me and it would have just continued. So I'll try. I guess I never wanted to think positively, about interactions with the gods while I'm not actually working with them because I was really worried, oh, I'm going to start thinking I'm special sparkle princess and all the gods love me and I'm such a Mary Sue. I heard, I like Mary Sue. Yeah, and, the funny thing is, if you don't know the Mary Sue character, if you read the original Star Trek story, I actually like her. She's delightful. Who wouldn't want to have everyone get along with them and love them and everything? Nobody wants people to hate them. We all want everybody to like us. We might say we don't care, but deep down we do. So it was really good that he reminded me not to do that because he's like, you're hurting your god's feelings and you're isolating yourself from your gods. And that's why some of the gods are like pulled back. That and he's being a little territorial, he is. He will let everybody come in for a hot minute and then he decides, nope. This is Odin's territory, and Loki's, but it's Odin's territory, so he gets a little territorial, which is awfully sweet. So, I hope you guys found that useful. Like I said, I try to be honest with you guys, because, if you're having problems too, the worst thing in the world is to have someone say, everything's going perfectly for me, it couldn't be going possibly better. And I think if we share the problems we have in communication, especially with Odin, it helps because I think we have this fantasy of Odin that we're handed down that he's this all-powerful god that's kind of emotionally distant if he's not being angry, and in a lot of ways he's kind of presented as Yahweh, like this overpowering, all-knowing god that's emotionally distant, and you can never trust him or turn your back on him and stuff like that. And then we end up treating him very poorly. If somebody told you that Odin has an emotional range, at first you'd be like, yeah, sure he does. But the more you work with him, you realize he does. There's a line in that article I read about how, he likes to make his friends laugh. I'm like, where did they find this? Odin laughing? He can laugh? This is possible? Where? I mean, I've seen him laugh, but I'm like, what? He has friends? Because they always make him sound like his loner, alpha wolf, unemotional, unapproachable god sometimes. And if that's what you really need, that's great. But for those of us that like emotional contact and like emotion and like a good sense of humor, it's kind of nice to know we have options. Though we always have to remember the relationship is up to the gods. We like to think we're in charge because we're humans. And the world's so secularized, we like to think that, oh, we get to call the shots now. No, we don't. They're still gods. So he gets to dictate the relationship. They're now working on me. They're like, what are we doing for Valentine's Day? And I'm like, I don't know. We have like some chocolate from Christmas. And I don't know what the weather will be like. Like, I don't even have the money, but I don't want to go out to like the local eatery and spend like $20 to $40 all told on like a steak dinner or something. So I said, I don't know. We'll think of something. I have no idea. I said, I don't really care. So, we'll try to do something. And we're working every day on having a better, stronger relationship. And I have to learn that he does have an emotional range and it's important and valid. It doesn't disappear just because we like to dress him all in black and make him look spooky and powerful and emotionally unavailable. That doesn't get to happen. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.